Today, let's talk about another institution, another bank FOMOing into Bitcoin. Look at this, 30,400. This right here is when I went on vacation last week. And then, boom, that's what happened. We went up for, 4,000 points for Bitcoin in a single week. It has been very, very exciting, and it's going to become even more exciting as we move forward. The FOMO right now is real. It's real. Every institution is thinking about how to jump in. It's been one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. And this is happening despite the U.S. market not doing so well. Last week, the U.S. market was very red. In fact, NASDAQ was in the red last week, okay? Very red. So this is also positive because it shows how strong Bitcoin can be as it decoupled away from the U.S. market. This is all due to ETF fever, okay? Bitcoin ETF does exist in other countries already, like Canada, for example. But in the U.S., it's just massive. All the money's here. Wall Street's here, right? Everyone is looking at U.S. and seeing what the U.S. is going to do. You know, the funny thing is, no one seems to remember about Gary Gensler, right? Like all of last week, we didn't hear a peep out of Gary Gensler or the SEC. What happened to the lawsuit with Coinbase and Binance? It seems like no one cares or no one takes it seriously since BlackRock said, yeah, Gary, you know what? We're going to need you to approve our Bitcoin ETF. And since then, everyone's been jumping in. And we have another exchange that even got released last week, right? Like I didn't even have time to look at that exchange. We have a new exchange backed by Charles Schwab and Fidelity and the three other banks, right? That opened up like all of a sudden on top of all the Bitcoin ETF news. I mean, it's just an onslaught of good things that happen, and more will be coming. ProShares already has a future-based Bitcoin ETF. Not the same. It's not settled or using real Bitcoins, just using Bitcoin futures. However, the volume is exploding right now because everyone wants a piece. That's what's happening right now. These big boys all want a piece of the pie. I've been telling you guys for over a year, FOMO is real. It happens to everyone. And a lot of these big boys been accumulating behind the scenes. Why do you think BlackRock all of a sudden wants to offer a Bitcoin ETF? They've probably been accumulating Bitcoin since, who knows, since 2018 maybe. They've been talking about it since 2018. Maybe they've been accumulating all the way since that last decline, or maybe they start accumulating in the beginning of 2022 or mid 2022. Whatever the case, these guys have been accumulating and now they're ready to offer. So yeah, that's what's happening. HSBC is the latest bank to FOMO in. They're not offering their own Bitcoin ETF, but they are enabling Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF trading in Hong Kong now. This is under a lot of pressure from China telling HSBC and all the other banks in Hong Kong to be pro-crypto, despite the fact they know that they will only bring their demise earlier, but they have no choice. Okay, so we know that Hong Kong and China are both becoming very pro-crypto as well. This will definitely help in the coming bull market. It's all related. It's all connected, right? The pieces are starting to fall one after another. And this is all great. Extremely, extremely great. Yeah, so I mean there's just so much going on right now. Futures, which is not using real Bitcoin ETF, it's just basically a market that's tracking Bitcoin's price movement, of course, has been exploding as well because Bitcoin has been exploding. The price has been exploding. So, of course, the volume of futures is exploding. The biggest bets since Terra's collapse. And that's beginning of 2022 when we were coming off in 2021. So Bitcoin back then was still like 40 or 50,000. So we're not that far off. We're getting closer. History doesn't always repeat, but it tends to rhyme. Okay. So you look at going all the way back to the beginning. Yes, at the very beginning, there was some explosions, but after we had that fall, right, in 2014, the very first one, you can see, then we had 3 good years. Then we had another fall in 2018. Then we had 3 good years. We had a fall in 2022. So what do you think is going to come after next, right? History, again, doesn't always repeat, but it tends to rhyme. It really does. It tends to rhyme. So if we're following what has happened before, this year should be a phenomenal year. Next year will be even better. And then a year after that will be explosion. Even better. Okay, so that is what we have to look forward to. Also, in terms of whale ratio is plummeting. And what is whale ratio? Well, the Bitcoins that's going into the exchanges, okay, when you see a large number of that, a large number of Bitcoin coming into the exchanges from whales, that's bad. But when the whale numbers start dropping, that's good. That's good. That means the whales are accumulating and not selling, right? Just like, look at what happened in November. Look at that huge drop, right? That was when Bitcoin fell to its low point. And look at right now, we just had a huge drop, meaning the whales are like, okay, we're not going to be selling anymore. We're going to be accumulating and buying, right? That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. And then you look at the number of Bitcoin being hodled for over 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years, all-time high. Every single one, right? 1 year, around 69%. 2 years, around 56%. 3 years at 40%. And 5 years at 29%. So what do you think is going to happen to the price when the number of holders and the number of Bitcoins being held keeps on going up and demand keeps on increasing? I mean, it's just, you just do the math. Number of addresses above 1, Wholecoiners, continues to explode. Over 1 million. It surpassed 1 million months ago, but still continues to climb higher. Those of you guys that are trying to achieve this, continue forward, please. Those of you guys that have already done this, well, congratulations. Aim for 2, aim for 5, aim for 10, aim for 100. Right? It's a game of accumulation. The more you accumulate, the better it is. I mean, just look at Michael Saylor. He figured it out. He's figured it out. Maybe irresponsibly, but still, he's figured it out. And that's what most are trying to do. Institutions are doing that as well, too. These institutions are just accumulating more and more as they can. And that is what we should do as well.